Hey, welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today is we're gonna go into these grading of this terrible game yesterday. Um Pittsburgh Steelers definitely laid an egg yesterday, losing to the Seattle Seahawks 31-17. It's really not too much positive to even speak on about this game, but we'll try. But it was a total disaster home opening game. For the most part, I mean, let's just keep it real. The Steelers didn't show up. The Steelers didn't show up, and they got their butts handed to them. But also, it kind of opened up some questions that we kind of seen in the first game, and to be quite honest, it's some things that I believe that's really been going on since last year, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that just haven't been answered. None of those questions have been answered to me. So we'll see, but let's get into this. Here we go. So we had said before that this wasn't really going to be an easy game for the Steelers. That Seattle um, had a tough defense, but I thought at the end of the day, the Steelers would be able to take care of business and get a W out of this. But it didn't happen. Um, like I say, to me the Steelers didn't show up. Some ugly situations, dating back from last year, kind of showed up instead, and Steelers got their butt kicked. So as we say, Seattle 31-17 victory, which I I didn't see that coming. Like I say, I thought the Steelers would get through this game, and I thought it would be a little lower scoring game. The defense, second week in a row, giving up over 30 points a game. I looked at something today. Now think about this: all these teams out here that we call trash, and we joke about the Cleveland Browns and all these other teams out here. The Steelers have given up 300 plus yards on defense the last 10 games they've played, and that's the longest streak in the NFL. So when you look at the Browns and the Dolphins and all these teams that everybody say is trash, at some point in their last 10 games, they defense have not given up 300 yards. And the Pittsburgh Steelers defense have 10 straight games, 300 plus yards they've given up. And I want to say they're giving up on an average of 27.9, 28 points a game. So it's just a bad situation right now. And to me, I know part of it is injuries, which the Steelers got a ton of injuries now. So part of that is injuries, but I just think for the most part, the whole schematic of the defense is not working. And to be honest, it ain't gonna change. It's not gonna change because at the end of the day, Mike Tomlin is running this defense. People can say what they want to say. He can say what he want to say. Mike Tomlin is running this defense because there's no way in hell that if Austin was really the defensive coordinator, that man would still have a job right now. There's no way. He would have lost his job, going into the off season last year. So that's letting you know Tomlin is pulling the strings on here. And I feel like Tomlin at this point is stuck in his ways. He's stuck in his ways, and the way he see the way defense should be played, it ain't working. So at the end of the day, I don't I don't see no improvement. I don't. I mean, granted, the defense will work a little better once they get some players back, but overall, because this is his philosophy. He refused to move Benton. He's playing out of position. He's not a nose tackle. He get blown out of there every play. Um, so he shouldn't be there. But I've heard Tomlin say, "Well, hey, football ain't played like that anymore with the big guys in the middle and all that type stuff." So it ain't going to get any better. So um, just get used to what you see. So quarterback Aaron Rodgers end up. I think he threw for like 203 yards, something like that. One touchdown. He had two interceptions. The interceptions, well, Calvin Austin ran that wrong route and got too deep and popped the ball up in the air, and that one got picked off. And then I think his second interception, it was garbage time. He just trying to make a play, and got that one picked off. Um, Running for his life. I mean, if you ask me, he's back there running for his life. I've always, I believe usually when guys, and I know people say that he's holding on to the ball, and that's a little bit. He's probably holding on to it a little longer than what he wants because no second receiver. People are these coaches ain't dumb, so they double teaming Metcalf, taking him out, and the other guys on the other side not getting it done. So, but that's the Steelers' fault. Not trying to get another legit number two receiver. So Rodgers probably is holding on to the ball a little bit. But one thing about those guys and guys like Rodgers, when they get up in age like that, these type quarterbacks, they want to get rid of that ball quick. They don't want it in their hand. They want to get it out their hand, go through their progressions and get that ball out of there. And this man is back here running for us. Like when I see him scrambling, I'm like, oh my God. So, but we'll get to that offensive line. So in this game here, I gave Rodgers a C. Probably could have actually went lower, but I think for the most part he did okay. Nothing special. Nothing special. The receivers really didn't help him too much. This grade probably really should have been a C minus, but I gave him a C, and I'm just hoping he can just make it through the season because right now it ain't looking too good. The running backs, Jaren, I thought Warren played his heart out. Um, really had a solid game. Um, no help other than him. Um, Gainwell really didn't do anything. Johnson, he I don't really know what to say about him. I just think at this point he's not going to get a lot of time until they can trust that he can block. And like I say, I think right now with the problems they're having on their offensive line, it's going to be a minute before they can really trust putting him out there. Just on the strength of his blocking is below average, and they just can't put him out there right now. So the running backs, I gave them a C, and they basically got that because I thought Warren probably had a B game, so the other guys kind of brought his grade down. But the only thing I will say is I would have liked with Warren that long run he had off the screen. You got to get in the end zone, man. You got to find a way to get that ball in the end zone. But I'm not really holding that against him. But I just would have liked for him to get in the end zone on that play. Wide receivers. Metcalf is out there dropping balls. And come on, man. Steelers paying you $30 million a year. And you probably in drop from yesterday, you dropped two. I think you had a couple of drops against the Jets. So you probably got about 4 or 5 drop passes right now. So I don't know what's going on there. I know it's getting probably not really getting to him yet, but I can see the rumblings of a crash out coming just on the strength of getting double teamed. He's going, and like I say, if I'm a defensive coordinator, we're coming out the tunnel double teaming this guy because the Steelers don't have anything on the other side to really protect him or to take that double team away. So, I'm double teaming this guy, and he's gonna get it. He's gonna get frustrated. So that's coming. Other than that, Calvin Austin, I think he caught one ball for 22 yards. Nothing from anybody else. Receivers really no production, really. No production. So with that said, I gave the receivers a D. I gave him a D. And Metcalf, like I say, dropping balls. I mean, he scored the touchdown, but okay. I mean, you make $30 million a year. You need to be scoring touchdowns. But I don't need you out there dropping balls, and I don't know what's going on there. The tight ends, again, not a bad game. Fryer move, he made one good catch, and then if you look, and this was really an unbelievable pass that it would have been an unbelievable pass if Fryer move would have caught it. I think Rodgers, it was a free play. I think Seattle jumped off sides, and he rolled out and just slung it, and he put that ball right. I mean, you couldn't have dropped it in his hands no better. And Firemouth, of course, dropped it. So, you know, um, he would have had a chance to maybe catch that touchdown in the corner of the end zone if Calvin Austin didn't run the wrong route. It would have been a tough catch. I don't know if he would have caught it or not, but it would have been almost a diving catch. But again, Rodgers, I mean, he showed his pinpoint accuracy. I mean, he put the ball right on the dime, and like I say, it would have been a tough catch. So who knows if he would have caught it or not. Smith, he had an okay game, man. He caught about 4 balls, but again, no production from the offense period. So with the tight ends, I gave those guys a C. And Mount Washington, and I kind of feel bad for him because right now, they got to use him in the block. He got to help out and block. He did catch the 2-point conversion, but he's really not getting opportunities that he should get because they basically they made him a tackle. So here we go. Offensive line. I'm gonna say this, and it's something that ain't not new, but I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers did themselves a disservice of not getting a better offensive line coach. And granted, and I understand it. People say the offensive line coach is not out there blocking. The offensive line coach is not telling guys to be lazy and all that stuff. But my thing is this: whatever you see on film, whatever you see on film, that's what you're coaching. Granted, like I say, you're not out there, you know, blocking and all that stuff, but that's the business of being a coach. You name me one NFL coach that's ever been fired because he was dropping a pass, or he didn't make this block, or he didn't he ran this play wrong. No. So that's part of being a coach, that you're going to be held responsible for your position group. And when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, none of these guys, and I'm not even going to get into Jones, which when I rewatched the game, he did better than last week, but honestly, he ain't really do nothing either. But he wasn't as bad. I will admit, he wasn't as bad as he was last week. But this offensive line is it's leaking oil everywhere. Like they take turns. Everybody take turns screwing up. And at some point, you have to hold the offensive line coach accountable. And like I say, I understand he ain't out, and he ain't telling these guys to be lazy and not make your blocks and all that, but somebody has to be held accountable for this. And you got a quarterback, a 42-year quarterback, a 41-year-old quarterback, that these guys, he's going to get killed. He's going to get killed. And they haven't, they haven't went up against some solid defense. I think the Jets defense is probably better than Seattle's defense, but they haven't even went up against really any tough defenses yet. And I hate to say it, if they play the trash Browns, Myles Garrett is going to sack Rodgers 5-6 times the way this line is blocking right now. And it's it's disheartening, because it's I I look at it like this, and I think I had told my Big G and Tate this. The Steelers remind me of a guy that buys a Rolls Royce, but he takes it to the neighborhood, guy working in his backyard to get it fixed. So you got this this offensive line that you put a lot of resources into. You got 2 number 1 draft picks, and none of those guys across the board are getting better. They're not getting better. They are they to me they're starting to digress. They're starting to actually play worse. So when you see that, and to me as a coach, as a head coach, you can't see that. I mean that's just unbelievable to me. But um, so the Steelers just gotta, I don't know, they got to get it together, and we'll see what happened with his offensive line. But right now, I gave them guys a D, and this actually really should have been an F. But I'm just gonna give them a little break just for the fact that they played a little better than they played last week. But it's still this team is going nowhere. This team is going nowhere with this offensive line playing this way. So as a whole, the offense, I gave the offense a C minus. Again, it's just it's issues there. Is it? I mean, we can't run the ball. Um, you can't protect your quarterback, and I, I don't know. I just truly feel like Rodgers is not going to make it. He's not going to make it. But we'll see. It's going to be tough. Now, to the total disaster. The total disaster of this game was the defense. So the edge rushers. Um, TJ Watt, he this is his sixth game in a row without a quarterback sack. And hey, Steelers paying this dude a ton of money. He's playing pretty good against the run. Because actually, when you look at it, they're really not even running his way. They go the other way, run, they run towards Cam and running through him, but not getting to the quarterback. Um, Highsmith is doing his 1-2 of being hurt. I mean, at this point, he's hurt all the time. I mean, and that's becoming an issue. He plays hard, but can't stay on the field. So what you had was, I thought the younger guys kind of stepped up and played okay. Um, Herbert, he had a couple of pressures, and he got the interception. Uh, Sawyer came in there and got a sack. Actually, he had a great game for it to really be his first game that he played a lot. So that was a positive, just to see the young guys get in there and do something. But I mean, at this point, I mean, and we all know, I mean, Watt he gotta step it up. He has to step it up. So I gave those guys a C+, and the only reason I gave that to them, because, like I said, I feel like the younger guys really stepped up and brought this grade up. Because if it was for the two starters, it would have been worse than that. Defensive tackles. Um, Again, we getting ran through. Um, I feel like Bennett is playing in the wrong position, and that's not his fault. That's a coaching situation. Um, Hayward, I will give it to him. He played better. He played better. Um, Finally, he's probably getting his win back together and getting himself in at least game shape. And he made he tipped the ball that eventually ended up getting picked off. But other than that, I mean, it's just injuries is really hurting this squad here, because they got a lot of guys that's playing that probably shouldn't be playing. But with that said, I gave those guys an F, because still can't stop the run. Um, you still got a guy out of position, which I don't understand what the coaches are looking at. This dude get blown off the ball every play, because he's just not big enough. But they continue to put him there, and it's just a disaster. And I gave those guys the defensive line a F. Inside linebackers, these guys, whoa, these guys need to go hide in a hole somewhere. Um, they actually started the game off not too bad, but they end. I mean, I know Wilson was sick. He was on the field throwing up, and I think Queen ended up going into the tent. I think he hurt his ribs or something, but he eventually ended up coming back. But it's a play where, and I have never seen this, and I ain't watched a lot of football. Level, college level, pro level. Seattle's fullback pancake both of the Steelers inside linebackers at the same time. I just it was just unbelievable. I mean, he actually pancaked both of them at the same time, and that's just not, man. That I I know wherever Jack Lambert was watching the game, I just know he probably threw his beer at the TV. I mean, this is not Pittsburgh Steelers football. This is not Pittsburgh Steelers football at all. And so if you get a chance, go look that up. He pancaked Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson at the same time. 2 for 1. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now I gave those guys a F. Um, just they were terrible. Matter of fact, um, Wilson ended up he got benched. They just took him out. He still doing that. Want to run around blocks and like I say, he was sick. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but he was playing terrible. He was playing trash. So they might. I mean, they did the best thing they could do was take him out. The corners, um, not a good day for them. I mean, Ramsey ended up having the interception, but these guys, they're zone. They are zone corners right now. They're not one on. They're not man corners. Not at this point in their career. They cannot run with these guys. Slay can't run with nobody. Ramsey can't run with nobody. They're some corners. At this point, um, it's just again, it's just when I think about this coaching staff, like, what are you doing? You can't put these guys on an island and think that they can run with these guys because they can't. They're still are they crafty because they're older vets? Yes, they are. Can they bait a quarterback sometimes? What Ramsey end up doing, he baited Darnold into a interception, but he can't keep up. You can't keep up with these guys like that no more. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna have to figure something out on the back end because trying to play man with these guys is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So I gave them a C-, because to be honest, again, this grade could have been worse. And it really should be worse because they even let Cooper Cup come alive. And I think he had about 90 yards on him. So it was just it, it was bad all the way around. And the safeties, to be honest, who didn't hear they didn't make no noise. They didn't make no noise. They I mean, didn't really do bad, didn't really do good. They just out there right now. But it's nobody being a playmaker and making plays. So I gave the safeties a C. But this is what I really want to get to here coming up here shortly. So the defense as a whole, a flagpole, a F. The defense was terrible. We gave up over 30 points the first 2 games of the year. None of us really seen that coming. But the point of it is, it's here, and something has to be done real fast, or this season's gonna go right down the drain. Special teams, you got Boz. So I think Boz did his thing, and that's almost you're gonna get that every week. Waitman, I thought he punted good and he was kicking some bombs. From the kicking part of the game, very good. Now, let's. I still think our return team is giving up a little bit too much yards, so they got to work on that. But let's get to this Caleb Johnson back there returning kicks. For one thing, who in the hell came up with him for for him to be a kick returner. That ain't even his. He ain't even that type guy. So that was a terrible decision off rip to even have him returning kicks. Terrible. But on top of that, you don't even know the rules. And then again, I mean, yeah, could you say individually he should know the rules? Probably so. But again, I'm not even gonna put that. That's coaching. That is coaching. That is a lack of being prepared and a lack of teaching your guys what's going on. So that's totally on the coach. Totally on the coach. But hopefully now, since he made that big mistake, they get him from back there and keep him from out of there. But he should have never really even been back there. So I'm putting that on coaching. That was a terrible decision, and that should have never been made. So special teams, they get a C+, and they're only getting that because of Boz. Um, other than that, they were terrible. Here we go, the big thing, coaching. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not a Mike Tomlin basher, but this is what I think about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, I feel like at this point, is kind of feeling himself. He's kind of feeling himself. Everybody give his praises and at this point he been with the team almost 20 years and probably kind of got that I'm untouchable type feeling. And well well deserved. I'm not going to take nothing from what he's accomplished, but I think at this point I want to see Mike Tomlin do what he's great at. And what he's great at is okay, handling head coaching responsibilities and being a leader of young men. I think he's great. He's great at it. His players love him. But uh, I think on the offensive side with Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers, so I think he and pulled his hand out of that jar. So I really don't think he's really being that all involved in the offense. But he's still this defense that you see. This is his defense. This is Mike Tomlin's defense, and his philosophy at this point that don't work no more, man. It doesn't work no more, and you're getting totally embarrassed, totally outcoached. These offensive coordinators out scheming you. They're running circles around them. And so I feel like what Mike Tomlin got to do is do the things that you're great at. Do the things that you're great at. Hire you a defensive coordinator. Should have been Flores, but hire you a defensive coordinator and let that man run the defense, do what he has to do, and you be the head coach and do the stuff that you're great at. Like I say, being a leader of men, young men, and handling your head coaching responsibilities, but let your coordinators be at this point. Mike Tomlin need to be a CEO. He need to be a CEO type coach, and there's nothing wrong with that. You got a lot of guys like that, but right now, um, he needs to get his hands off this defense because this defense is a total disaster. Um, with that said, I gave coaching an F, and it should be a F minus, and I don't know. I don't know what they're going. Like I say, once they get a few guys back, that will help. But the scheme is still going to be the scheme, and I don't know what the Steelers are going to do to fix this. But it's something needs to be done because, like I say, if not, this season is going to be a total disaster, and it's going to be over before you know it. So, with that said, I want you guys to take care, and if you can, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you. Oh, actually, we won't see you next week. But hopefully, the Steelers get their act together. They got the New England Patriots that will not be a easy game because Mike Vrabel, I mean, he's gonna try to put it on the Steelers. He's gonna try to put it on them. But until then, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye.